They addressed it yesterday. It was the first time since all of this went down. Sunday, obviously, A.J. Brown says what needs to be worked on. Passing. Brandon Graham then takes gasoline, throws it on the fire on the air on Monday night, saying that there was a personal issue between Jalen and A.J. that needs to be taken care of. So we hadn't heard from either A.J. Brown or Jalen Hurts up until yesterday. We have a ton of audio that we're going to play for you. But before we get to the audio, I'll give you my reactions to what I heard. Look, this is an $8 billion company. Literally. The Philadelphia Eagles have been valued at $8 billion. So clearly, they were going to get their PR staff involved. They were going to meet with the coaches. They were going to meet with the players. And they were going to figure out what the unified message was going to be. There are some people out there saying that this was not real. It was not authentic. I think that it was. Yes, they had a unified message. Yes, PR probably told them what they should say and how it would be received in a city like Philadelphia. But I don't think you could have asked for more from the way Sirianni handled it at his press conference to start the day to the way A.J. Brown handled it at his locker. You saw pictures all throughout Twitter. There looked like 1,000 reporters. I'm exaggerating, but 1,000 reporters at his locker.
Busy day.
He handled it well. And Jalen Hurts, I have to say, I don't always love Jalen Hurts in press conferences. I thought the way he handled it yesterday was extremely good as well. So the question we're throwing out to start the show is, and we'll play clips throughout, are we ready to move on now? Is the drama behind us based off of this being addressed yesterday? Now, Amy, you were down there yesterday. You were in the locker room, I believe. You were at Jalen Hurts' presser. What do you think from what you heard? Did you think it was authentic?
I mean, I think your point about it being a unified message, that's just relative to any company, any organization, whether it's a sports team or a Fortune 500 company, right? If you have any kind of issues, they want to make sure everybody's on the same page. I thought there was a certain level of authenticity to it. I don't think it was, clear PR talk. I think it was, you guys need to address this. Here's how, you need to be aware of what you're going to say and how it's going to be parsed through the filters of whomever's listening. That's the thing. Like, people are going to point out to the media, oh, you guys made it. No, you listened with whatever preconceived notion and bias you have, right? Like, that's how everybody consumes whatever they're trying to read or hear. So I thought it was fine. I mean, I think that they still got their points across, and I think they said it both in ways that were genuine to each person that said it, whether you're talking about Nick Sirianni or Jalen Hurts or A.J. Brown. It wasn't like they said the same, verboten statement, right? So do I think it's over? No. I think it's going to continue, and that's fine, because until A.J. Brown has, 18 targets in one game and catches 10 balls for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, we probably will continue to look at how many targets he's getting, and they need to realize that. I mean, now it's on everybody's radar. It was already on our radar, but now it's really like, oh, let's really monitor this. And so, yeah, I mean, it's going to continue, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it's over, and we'll get into more later on in the show when we look forward to the Steelers game on Sunday, because depending on how that game goes, maybe this drama creeps back in, depending on if they have a bad passing game or not. But the first thing that they needed to address was Brandon Graham coming out. And people, I already see him in the YouTube chat. Move on already. Well, the reason we can't move on is this became national news. When A.J. Brown made his comments post-game, what needs to be worked on, and he says passing, that created a little bit of a buzz. But what really exploded was when Brandon Graham said that there was a personal issue, that they used to be friends, but things have changed. And then he went on to say you can't let the personal get in the way of business, and that just caused a media storm. And whether you think that the media should talk about it or not, I don't see how we couldn't talk about it.
Yeah, and it wasn't like he was baited into that. Brandon Graham said it. That was his opinion. He was asked a very innocuous question, and that was the answer he gave, which I thought was I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess we're talking about this now.
So I'm going to play clips throughout the show today, but let's start, Ray, with A.J. Brown at his locker, and the first thing he was asked was about BG and BG's comments. Can you play us A.J. Brown 1?
BG was just being BG. He's emotional. In that case, he just misspoke. Me and Jalen are good. So it's BG, guys. So everybody loves BG. You know, he's speaking from the heart. You know, he's just giving his perception on something from the outside.
So BG just being BG. I'm not sure that I'm buying that necessarily. Look, we all love Brandon Graham. He's been with the Eagles more than any player in franchise history. But I think we all agree he probably crossed the line when he started talking about the personal relationship between Hurts and A.J. And A.J. says, look, BG being BG. And then Jalen Hurts started his press conference yesterday, was also asked about Brandon Graham. And here's Hurts talking about BG.
We're good. We're good.
Did you two talk after Brandon's comment?
We've spoken. I think in the end, Brandon, BG, we're calling him Brandon, BG knows he spoke out of place, and he knows that.
So BG spoke out of place. You know,
that is a warm reception right there.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen obviously wasn't
irritated.
happy. Yeah, he wasn't happy. He was not happy. And I know that there's some people who are saying, well, AJ started this whole thing. And he did say passing, and we'll get into what he meant because he does elaborate on it. But none of this would have been news. I really don't think that we would have been talking about this now.
It would have been like the passing game, talk about that, and then it would have moved on. There wouldn't have been any kind of no one would have even thought twice about the relationship between Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown.
But here we are now, Thursday, 4 days removed from the comments about passing, and we're still talking about it because of Brandon Graham. But the more important issue, okay, I think everyone agrees Brandon Graham shouldn't have said what he said. I know there are a few people out there who think it was calculated and that maybe it's going to bring these guys closer together. I don't think so.
No.
I think BG crossed the line a little bit. But more importantly, what came of this was, is there a problem between Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown, not only on the field but off of it? Is there a problem with their personal relationship? Now, you heard A.J. kind of say everything's fine, but Jalen addressed it yesterday as well and said he has love for A.J. Ray, can you play Hurts too?
You know, sometimes things change as dynamics change, but for him, he knows I had a lot of love for him, just like I got a lot of love for all these guys. And ultimately, you know, he's a guy that's a competitor. You know, he wants to win. He damn sure wants the ball, and he wants to make an impact in the game. And I respect that. You know, and that's just like all of us.
So, look, Jalen's not usually the best speaker, in my opinion.
He doesn't give you a lot of information.
He's very robotic. But I like that answer there. I mean, he addressed it. He's got a lot of love for him. I got a lot of love for everybody on this team. What was the first part?
Where he said that their dynamics have clearly changed.
Yeah, what do you think he meant by that? Like, I took that as the dynamics have changed because now he's my teammate. But you think that maybe there's more going on?
Maybe I don't know. I don't know why you would even need to include that if there hadn't been some shift in your relationship, which is fine. It does. Maybe it's because they're teammates. Maybe it's because it's all business when they're on the field, and it's like we can go back to being buddy. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to be privy to their personal relationship as far as how it may have changed. But you didn't have to say that. You could have just said the part that you said, where like, yeah, we're good. I got a lot of love for him, just like I do everybody else. All right, well, this is a guy that's the godfather. You're the godfather of one of his children, right?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, before they were teammates. And look, you heard it last year. I heard it last year. There was a lot of smoke, and where there's smoke, there's fire, that maybe something happened between Jalen and AJ last year, that their relationship wasn't great. I know what I heard was Jalen was very unhappy with AJ Brown when he went on that media strike. And then he does finally speak. One of the things that A.J. admitted was in the Seattle game, Sirianni didn't make that call at the end of the game. Me and Jalen went rogue, and Sirianni made himself look like a clown for us. And I heard that Jalen wasn't very happy with that. He didn't like that A.J. had to reveal that to the media. Now, is that the reason that their relationship maybe has changed? I don't think that could.
Yeah, I think of relationships, and I take what Jalen says is relationships evolve. And they change in a dynamic that maybe is just different than they used to be. Not in a bad way necessarily. I think that that's just life. For him to say that, there's clearly been a shift in the dynamics of the offense, the dynamics of their relationship, because he says, oh, yeah, situations change, dynamics change. I got a lot of love for him. He's clearly talking about A.J. Brown. So when people think like, oh, no, he's talking about the dynamics of just the team. Well, no, he was asked specifically about A.J. Brown's his relationship. And that's what he said. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. You can evolve in a good way, too. things change. Maybe I think he was trying to say, again, it's all speculation, but I think he's trying to say, hey, with Brandon Graham, what is he talking about? Is there, listen, this is maybe what he saw, that our dynamic in BG's eyes had changed, and I'm addressing it, and now it's time to move on. That's kind of how I took it. I didn't take it as a negative, but, that's how I rolled.
There's so much more to get into because coming up, we're going to play some clips about exactly what A.J. Brown says he meant post-game when he said that the passing could be improved. He addressed it. Jalen Hurts addressed it. And I want you to address it. If you've listened to A.J. Brown's interview yesterday, you listened to Jalen Hurts' press conference yesterday, are you ready to move on? Do you think that this has now all been put to bed? Is this team going to be better for it? Or do you think this may be something that can linger? You can get in 610-632-0975. We got a lot to get into today. Not only with this, we're also going to talk about Jeffrey Lurie selling a piece of the franchise, and could that lead to a new stadium in South Philadelphia? We'll talk about it all. This is the Mike Missanelli Show. You got Bill Colarulo, Amy Fadul, and the one and only Ray Dunn behind the glass. Keep it here.
Hey everybody, it's Bill Colarulo. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel so you can engage during the show, and you're not going to want to miss all the content that we post. It's not only the live videos, it's videos after the fact. It's our shorts. It's all the content you want as a Philadelphia sports fan. Looking forward to connecting.